Here they left this area at the War of 1812 ground level. So in other words, it's when you get down that far that you're going to find those bits of copper banding or whatever else. But in this case, I just wanted to highlight that when this building was new in 1813, more of the stone foundation would have been visible. It would have looked a little bit more impressive than it does with the current ground level. After the battle, okay, let's try to imagine that we came back here, just before, let's say in late November of 1813. That building, this building, and another similar building over there, past the well, would have been here. In the middle here would have been the remains of the government house that was burned out. The crater from the explosion would have been visible. There would have not have been a south wall here. But these blockhouses were the first buildings built by the British when they came back to refortify this area. In that stone basement, that stone foundation, there's a gunpowder storage facility. There's a place to store food and water as well. This building could house up to 160 soldiers. That would involve 40 bunks on each floor, 2 per bunk. So they could get, this one is a little smaller, could do 120. The blockhouse that had been over there actually burned over that winter and was not rebuilt. So, but these blockhouses, these are the last two actually of 13 blockhouses that the British built in and around the Toronto area from 1793 up to about 1840. So it's kind of like a little miniature fortified barracks and supply depot, and that's why they were the first buildings here built by the British to kind of refortify this area. So the next year they did some more buildings over there. They were working on the walls, and by 1815 they were finishing the buildings over there as well. But if they say they were attacked in 1814, they would have had soldiers here, ammunition, food, and equipment to try to hold back an attack just using these blocks. You'll notice that the windows are a little bit low, and if you go upstairs and look around, you'll realize that they weren't put there so the soldiers could get a nice view of the lake or the Toronto Harbor. They're that low so that they could put cannons up there to shoot at things. Also, the second floor extends past the main floor. There were places to open up the floor on the second floor. So if the enemy reaches the base of the building, you could attack them from above, firing at them. Also, the two buildings are not immediately opposite each other. Fire from one can protect the side of the other one if there's an enemy force. Any thoughts? Beneath all of the weatherboarding on the outside are these thick squared beams that were proof against small arms fire. So like rifles, muskets, pistols, even small cannons, they couldn't immediately compromise the walls of this building. Originally, this building did not have a door on the bottom floor. The only door was the door at the back on the second floor. They could have a ladder or a staircase to get in, but if they were attacked, they could bring that into the building, close that off. There was no weak spot as far as a door on the main floor level. Soldiers, however, could open these slits up and shoot out in case they were attacked, also enjoying the protection of these beams. If you look around, I mean, this is one of our original buildings. It dates to 1813. Not everything here is original, obviously, but if you look at some of these beams, you can see that they have been worked with hand tools. So they're not machine sawn or anything like that. So you can see the adze marks from the soldiers who made these beams and put the building together. So a huge exhibit in here about the British Army, many different artillery. There's a 24-pound cannonball right there. During the time of the British Commonwealth, if you know British history, there was a civil war and they killed Charles I. Cromwell became the protector. During that time, they were fighting wars with the Dutch for colonial possessions. And there was a bit of an arms race going on. The British wanted to build bigger cannons to put on their ships than the ones the Dutch had on their ships. How you can mount it on a carriage. It also has this thing on the back that's called the cascable that allows you to help raise and lower it. But if a gun is condemned, then they knock that part off and they knock that part off. So that's the kind of use at your own risk sign. And they did that during the battle, just because they wanted a little bit of extra firepower. Why was it condemned? Pitting or cracks on the inside of the barrel. If you, yes, this is a 9-pound, this could fire a 9-pound ball. So what that means is that the powder charge could be 3 pounds of gunpowder. So if you blew up 3 pounds of gunpowder in this tube, there are going to be sparks in there. You have tools to clean it out before you put another 3-pound bag of gunpowder in there with the cannonball on top of it. If there are cracks in there, it is possible that the sparks will not be cleared out when you sponge out the barrel. And so you could blow your arm off or worse as you try to. But they took the chance, and there's even a way of mounting guns that have had those parts knocked off on a carriage. It limits to the extent to which you can change the elevation, but in this case it was better than others.